Hi guys, so this is going to be a really long video. Today we're reviewing the 20-piece brush set from Wish, except 3 of the 20 are double-ended, so technically there's 20 free applicators. No way am I going to be using all 23, but let's get started with this as quickly as we can. So, one of my normal brushes ended up in there, oopsie. Okay. So first thing I always do is put some just kind of skin toned eyeshadow up the top, covering all my brow bone, evening everything out. So I usually use a bit of a fluffier brush for this, but I don't really have one. So we're going to attempt this sort of concealery type shaped one. See how that goes. So doesn't seem to be friendly with depositing pigment, I will say that straight off. So these are all synthetic, so they would in theory be better with creams, I think, than powders. Oh, that fallout. Yeah, this is just not the right kind of brush for that, so where's my normal one? Oh yeah, I cleaned it. Okay, I'm just going to dust it on with a fluffy 224 instead, just quickly to get on with this, because like I said, it's going to be a long video. Okay, so eyeshadow wise, there's hundreds of brushes in here that you could use for eyeshadow, as well as sponge tip applicators and all sorts of sizes. So we've got all kind of these shape of brushes. There's some pretty odd ones as well, but they're all kind of the same sort of shape. And there's not a huge variety in size, I've got to say, apart from this little guy and his friend over here. So, you know, they're very much the same shape. One of them's double-ended with a shadow sponge tip applicator. So, I've got my NYX Ultimate Brights palette. I'm just going to do a bit of a rainbow eye since we have so many brushes to play with. So I'm going to start with the yellow on my inner corner, and I'm going to accelerate this hopefully, and yeah, so again, it's not really great for pigment there and fallout compared to cheap e.l.f. brush. So I would normally just pat this on like that. And it packs it on. So give this another go. So after the yellow we'd be moving into orange. So let's see if we can get that on. Because yellow's not the easiest colour to formulate, so let's go for a slightly bigger one. Let's see if we can move this along faster. See, we've got a lot of fallout. So I think the main issue I'm having so far with the eye brushes is they're all very flat. They're all quite stiff. There's not really any kind of fluff to them. So the shadow is really just sitting on, like, on the surface, and it's, you know, it's just not working out. See how much fallout I've got there? Nevertheless, that is on. You know, it's there, it's on my eye. Crease brush, again, we don't really have anything. We've got one of these guys, which is really stiff, so this is kind of scary. But for me, I'm going to try it in the red, but I've got a feeling it's going to be pretty bad. Let's see. Oh, God, yeah, that's stiff. Okay. Let's try this guy instead, actually. Ooh, no. No. Okay, I'm going to quickly finish the eye look I intended off camera and come back and do my face. At the moment, as eyeshadow, I'm kind of not loving it. I will give a 2-second attempt at the sponge tip applicator in honour of Christine Simply Nailogical. So this has like no flex to it whatsoever, but it is indeed packing the colour on. But there's really nothing I can blend it out with, so I am going to go and quickly finish this off camera as I said, and I'll come back to play with the rest of my face. Be right back. The eyeshadow is as far as it's done, and I just wiped some foundation on my face because I'd splattered it everywhere. So this does have a sort of traditionally shaped foundation brush. It is a little bit smaller than I remember them being, but I haven't used one of these for a very long time, so let's get going. So I'm anticipating this working much better with my cream products, so fingers crossed. Now the handles on these are a little bit shorter than your kind of average brush, so oops, height wise they look a little bit shorter, but it's not that much of a difference, and since there's no blending brushes I don't really see much of an issue there. Something like a big fluffy blending brush I want to have a longer handle because, well, it gives you a more delicate touch for blending. So this is, it's okay. There's a little bit of lines and streaking, but I actually kind of associate that with these brushes anyway. I was never a huge fan of them for foundation. I think I used one about twice and then stuck to like stippling style brushes, but we're going to do our best today because I'm trying to give this a fair shot. So I just find these brushes take longer, but hey, I am just impatient. So they are much better for getting into corners like the edge of your nose though. I did like that aspect of the traditional foundation brush. So initial thoughts when I got this set out was, it was really cute. I liked the purple handles. I do feel that there's a shortage of certain brush types. Everything's very flat apart from that one very round one that we tried to use as a crease brush. In fact, the two very round ones we tried to use as crease brushes. Everything's very much flat. It does include a spoolie, which is always nice, but then at the same time, that's kind of one of the cheapest and easiest things to include, I think, in a brush set. So, mixed feelings on that. So, the fact that 3 of them turned out to be double-ended and there's still like 20 handles in total is quite nice. When I saw that, I wondered whether they were counting each end as one brush, but they're not. So, that's something. So, this just kind of glides over my pores and makes them look really obvious. So, this is kind of summing up why I don't use the flat foundation brushes. And I've apparently not done enough on my chin. So next I'm going to do my concealer. As ever, we're going to be starting with the under eye corrector. So this is going to be interesting to try and blend out, because you want to be gentle in your under eye. And I could have used that pointy brush, but now I've used it for my bright red crease colour, so let's not do that. Excuse me. That's what happens when you get lots of fallout. Okay, let's try this guy just for interest. He's a little bit fatter than some of the other ones, so let's give him a shot. I mean, I can't see that there's product sitting there, but I also don't see as much of an improvement as I normally see. I almost feel like these brushes are so stiff they're kind of wiping things off. And again, a little bit streaky. So at the moment, I think these brushes are just too stiff and plasticky, and I'm not loving that. So let's get some concealer on, because I love me some concealer. I love me a lot of concealer. Alright. And I have a lot of areas that need extra coverage today because I just don't like the coverage I get from a traditional foundation brush. So, right, let's go back to the foundation brush to attempt blending this out, because it's a little bit softer, at least, than the last one that we used. I have no idea what I would really want to use a brush this shape for, perhaps stamping powder on my lower lashes, but given how stiff it was, I don't see that being comfortable, and it is quite wide side on, so you might end up with quite a lot of product there. So, I should be bearing in mind that I did literally pay £4 for this brush set, so there is that. So I'm kind of changing my technique a little bit, and try to just use the tip of this brush more than the kind of paddle shape on it. So I'm basically treating it like the world's skinniest stippling brush, but it has gave me better results. Oh, the pores on my nose are so visible. Ugh. Yeah, if you have open pores, this does not seem to be a good foundation brush for trying to hide that. I seem to be emphasising it a lot. So, again, no fluffy brushes, so no powder brushes. I am going to quickly powder my face and be back. In fact, not just no powder brushes, no blush, no contour, no highlight. So I'm going to go away and come back quite a bit different. Okay, we're back. Right, so next things I would normally do are my brows, and we do actually have a nice titchy small angled brush. So I'm being optimistic about this particular step. So let's see how this goes. As ever, I've got my Freedom brow pomade. And it's applying it. I mean, I always feel like it's kind of hard to go wrong with an angled brow brush as long as it's quite thin and got an angle on it. That's all you kind of really need. Not saying that I'm going to make my brows look perfect every time, because that's not the brush's fault. Yeah. Okay, I think this one I'm actually kind of happy with. This is a keep. The first proper keep of this set. Especially because I always feel like I need to clean my brow brushes more often. I've got about, this will be my 4th one that I kind of like. So, you know, just because it's not good to like leave it, the pomade kind of sets, and then you try and use it again the next day. Doesn't really work out. So yeah, so let's put that on. That's fine. If you like angled brushes for eyeliner, this might be quite nice as well, because it is very fine. Speaking of eyeliner, that's what we're doing next. So there's a couple of brushes here that I think are aimed at being eyeliner brushes. Now one of them is one of the double-ended brushes and one is on its own. Now this guy to me seems far too long to have any control doing liner. Almost looks more like a striping brush for nail art. So I'm going to try the smaller beginner's version. I'm not good at using an angled brush for a liner, so I'm going for this guy. So I've just got the sleek ink pot that we were reviewing the other week. Get that loaded up. Is this the slightly... no. For some reason when I took these out I thought one of them was slightly bent, but I'm not sure if it is, or if it is, whether it's deliberate. So let's get this on. So this is a little bit flimsy. Opposite of what I've said of all the other brushes in this set. But it's doing an okay job. So not be too harsh on it. That was me, not the brush. So given it's flimsy, put a bit more pressure when you're dragging your flick back in, it will just ping off. Put way too much product on back there. Okay, let's try the other side, see if I can do a better job with a bit of practice now. Okay, so I'm not mad at the liner brush, the short one anyway. I still think if I tried to use that long one, I would be having a complete nightmare. I'm just going to quickly even this up actually, because this guy looks a bit thicker. Okay, so that's two in a row that we've liked, the brows and the liner. So, woohoo! Okay, I suppose I should try my under eye area, do some other colours. Sorry, somebody knocked at my door, I had a delivery. Right, I'm going to do some more colours on my lower lash line, because that was my original plan. And I feel like I need to give these brushes a really, really proper chance, attempt, opportunity. So I've got this larger angled brush. I'm going to take a little bit of the red just to kind of start, you know, joining the two lash lines together. Because this is quite a pinky red, so I can probably go straight from this into purple. So it's actually doing an okay job for that, so that's nice. I wonder if there's another smaller one. Do I have another smaller angled brush? I do not. Oh, I do. Okay, let's try this guy in the purple. So I do love this palette, by the way. And I was thinking I need to try another rainbow eye, because I'm possibly going to make it to some of Pride in Glasgow this year. And, you know, rainbow is definitely the theme to go with. Okay, the angled brushes are my current favourites, I would say, from this set. So after purple, we're going into blue. I'm going for the nice bright blue, because why not? And then of course blue and yellow means green, and there's a lime green in this palette, so that is how we are joining the top and bottom of this look. Okay, angle brushes, definitely winning favourite, loving them. Let's see. Lips. I've got a bright pink about here somewhere. But ignore pink, we're gonna do purple. Again, I don't normally use lip brushes, so I feel like I'm almost a bad reviewer for this set because lots of it's things I would normally use. I know that, you know, if you use a lip brush, you get so many more applications out of your lipstick, you get a more accurate lip line, la 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 la. I'm impatient. Nothing else to it. So... okay, it's doing a really nice job as a lip brush. And this is double-ended with the angled brush. In fact, if you hadn't used that angled brush for eyeshadow and you were using a dark lip colour, that would be great for neatening up your edges using concealer. Sure. Okay. Oops. Nudge that back into place. And yeah. I'm happy with that as a lip brush. It's actually the right amount of like stiffness to give you a good finish, but it doesn't feel uncomfortable, and it's quite easy to get the product off onto it. I've also just realised that I haven't put any mascara on yet, and that's probably why I'm thinking there's something wrong with my eyes. So I'm going to quickly do that, and then we will sum up this kit. So... okay, so always bearing in mind that this was £3 for this kit, £1 postage. So overall, let's see, how many of these brushes do I think I'm going to use again? Actually, for looks like this, for packing on colour, I can see myself reaching for the sponge tip applicators again, but I'm not exactly sure of these. They come free with so many palettes, so I don't really want to count that as, oh, this is such a good brush, this is worth some money. Spoolie, I never used it, but it's perfectly functional. In fact, let's just quickly comb my mascara through and have no clumps. I have been wanting to have one of these about, so again, that can go in the good pile. The liner brush I was happy with. The little angled brush and the one that I used for my lip was happy with. What did I use you for? Tried to use this guy for eyeshadow, was not a fan. Would probably be okay for spot concealing, but meh. This guy's got another sponge applicator and pretty much the same one that might be okay for, you know, spot concealing. This guy I tried out for small detail work for my eyeshadow and has fluff on it and didn't really work out. It would probably be okay for doing your brows as well. Would make a good lip brush, so I'll keep it around. So this guy, again, this just feels way too flimsy to do liner with. And this end is a little bit large for a lip brush, so I probably don't see myself getting any use out of this particular one. The foundation brush, no. Takes too long, emphasise my pores, no. The angle brush I used for my brows, definite yes. This guy is weird. I don't know what its purpose is. I mean, I guess, again, it's something you could use for spot concealing, but I tend to just put my concealer on with my fingers and blend it out with my normal foundation brush. This guy, no, I don't get it. These two I also kind of don't get. So I had brushes this kind of shape in the last kit, and you know, I can use this to blend out my under eye concealer, but ultimately I prefer my other one. This guy is really weird and stiff and not fluffy, so I don't see it as a blending brush, but I don't see what else you would use this sort of shape for, so that is also a no. And then I feel like I've missed some of these guys. So there's a couple of smaller ones that I haven't kind of used. These guys would be fine for lip. Again, they're quite small, be good if you wanted to do an ombre. This guy, I don't know, it feels very stiff. It usually seems like something you would be smudging under your eyes with, particularly if you'd put a kohl pencil under there. So I'm going to hang on to that because that is a look that I like. I'll hang on to the two wee lip ones. Again, I think this is aimed at, you know, concealer, but again, I don't use that. And also, how many of those do you need in one kit? Love of God. So, overall, the absolute no's are these guys for me, and ones I can actually see myself using again, impressively, are these guys. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So actually, for the price, I felt really negative during that video, but for the price, there's plenty of brushes that I would use. A lot of them do the exact same functions. I definitely wouldn't see this as a standalone kit. No powder brush, no blusher brush, no contour, no blending brush for your eyeshadow. But I think this many brushes to use for £3 is not bad, and I love the purple handles because I'm a fiend and I love purple. So that's that. So I'm just going to quickly zoom you in and give you a proper look at the finished product that we got. So my pores still look pretty bad. My under eye, I've got liner from when I flicked it. I've had nothing to blend these guys out, so I'll use my finger for that. But in terms of colour placement and pigmentation, the angled brush on the bottom done a nice job. The brows are filled in, and you know, my lashes are tangle free from the spoolie. So ultimately, while I sounded really negative, actually this is a good buy. If you've got any questions about these or any advice on how to get an actual decent looking foundation from these brushes, please leave that down below, and I'll see you guys again soon. Bye!